Start with the types of cryptogams. The first type is the Thylophyta. This Thylophyta mostly grow in water, or almost grow in water. Water can be fresh water as well as saline water. So it can be found in pond as well as in sea water. So both the type of water is found. So they are found basically in saline water as well as in fresh water. What do you mean by saline water? Saline water is nothing but the salty water, and fresh water is the sweet water which we know. Then they can be unicellular as well as multicellular. Unicellular or multicellular. They can be minute as well as few are large as well. The fourth thing which you need to remember is the body is soft and fiber like. Fiber like, you must be knowing the thread like structure. They are very tiny and thread like, just like our thread is, the same way is the Thylophyta. Soft means it is very soft, not at all rough when you touch it or feel it. A very good example of Thylophyta is algae. Algae are of three types again. The first one is the blue-green algae. Second one is the brown, and the third one is the red. The first one is the blue-green algae. This blue-green algae consists of chlorophyll, and it is mostly present in a moist place, a watery place. The second one is the brown algae. Brown algae are found near the seashore. Wherever the sea is there, near the shore, you will find this, and it is also called as the seaweed algae. The third one is the red algae. This is found deep inside the oceans. So one more thing which you need to remember is they do not have any sort of root, stem, leaves, but they do have chlorophyll. So due to the presence of chlorophyll, they are called as autotrophs, as they can prepare their own food. The examples of Thylophyta are, the first example which you can always write is the Spirogyra. Second is Ulva, and some types of yeast are also included in this Thylophyta. So few yeast and molds are included in the Thylophyta. The second type of cryptogams are the Bryophyta. Bryophyta are also called as amphibians. Now why they are called as amphibians? The reason behind is that this Bryophyta mostly grow in a moist place, in a soil, moist soil. Moist soil means which is slightly wet in nature, but they reproduce in the water. Just like amphibians, for example, frog, because frog can live in water as well as on land. The second thing which you need to remember over here in bryophytes are, they are thyloid. Thyloid is nothing but they do not have proper root, stem, leaves. They do not have complete organs in them, but still they have leaf-like structure, root-like rhizome. Instead of root, they have rhizomes in them. So, third thing which you need to know is that it is multicellular. It is not at all unicellular. Only one type of species are found here which are multicellular in nature. They are autotrophs mostly, as they have chlorophyll in them. So next is, they are non-vascular. Non-vascular means they do not have xylem and phloem. So when they require nutrition from the surrounding, or when they require water, what happens is, if they are having leaf-like structure, which is not exactly leaf, but it is a leaf-like structure, so what happens is the surface of the leaf itself absorbs water from the surrounding. They do not have xylem and phloem, but still they absorb. So such structure, such kind of process is non-vascular process. So this is a characteristic feature of bryophytes. Then the examples of bryophytes is Markensia. This bryophytes, as I have told, it comes under cryptogams. They do not have recognizable reproductive system. So what they mainly have is a spore. Suppose this is a sporangium. Sporangium is a covering which consists of the spore. So this sporangium have a spore. It has only a single spore, not more than one, and this spore helps in the reproduction. When this sporangium breaks, the spore is easily released and it can go in the environment, in the soil, and reproduce in a new plant. So this is all about the bryophytes. The next one is the Pteridophyta. This group has developed root, stem and leaves. The second thing which you need to know is they are vascular. Vascular means they have xylem as well as phloem, which means, suppose this is the plant. So the xylem, this blue color I am showing as a xylem, this will absorb water from the soil and it will transport it to the leaves. Phloem I will be showing with black. The next thing is, here what happens, the photosynthesis takes place and due to this photosynthesis what we get? We get glucose, or in other words we get food. This food which is prepared by the leaves then is transported to different parts of the plant, with whether it is root, then stem, then flower, everywhere. So these are the two things which you need to know. The xylem transports water, whereas the phloem transport food to different parts of the plant. Then the third thing is, though they have root, stem and leaves and the vascular system is proper, but still what they do not have is flowers and fruit, and they are not having fruit, so they do not have seed as well. They reproduce both sexually and asexually. Most probably they have spores formed along the back of the posterior surface of their leaves. If this is a leaf, so in the posterior part of the leaves there will be spores formed. So the back of the leaf, back is nothing but the posterior. The shining part is the front part, and if you turn the leaf, the posterior part, you will find the spores. So the third thing which I told you just now is absence of flower and fruit. Then spores are formed in the posterior of the leaf. Then, as I've told you, they reproduce sexually as well as asexually. Asexually means with the help of spores. Spores means again in the sporangium they will be having spores. Now these spores are not one as it is there in the bryophytes. In pteridophyte the spores are many, and when they burst out or when they dehiscent, what happens is these spores are released and it is spread. What about the sexual reproduction. In this case, what happens is, if this is the gametophyte with the rhizome, this is the rhizome, or you can say rhizoid. So these young gametophyte consist of two organs, which are male reproductive organ and female reproductive organ. The male reproductive part in the plant is called as antheridium, whereas the female part is called as the archegonium. Now these two parts, the archegonium releases an egg, whereas the antheridium releases a sperm. When these two fuses, they gives zygote, and due to the formation of zygote, a new plant is developed. This was all about the sexual reproduction. The most common example of pteridophytes are Equisetum, Selaginella, etc. So this was all about the Pteridophyta. Which comes under the Cryptogam.